So, all right, guys, the recording. Wait a minute. I think I just muted myself. No, I didn't. Okay, Celia, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Got it.
Okay, now there we go. And Celia, if you're wondering why it says Melissa Adams under my name, we are sharing the same Zoom account, so we can do some pretty cool stuff with it. So it's in her name.
Well, Stacy, I was going to start calling you Melissa. I didn't know. I was like, okay, maybe he's changed his name. I didn't know.
If I could have found a blonde wig, I'd have thrown it on tonight and just thrown everybody off. But guys, I'm getting ready to turn this over to Celia. Her and I'll be back, kind of bouncing backwards and forwards. I'll be asking her some questions. But Celia and I met on our 50K giveaway cruise. That's the one you earn when you hit Platinum Executive or Platinum Director twice. And that was it 3 years ago this past March? Wow,
it was.
Time flies. So 3 years ago. And her husband, Boone, if you heard her mention, he's a fireman there in Texas. So obviously him and I connected, me being a policeman, him being a fireman. So him and I probably talked as much, if not more, than Celia and I talked. So we just kind of built a bond, and that's what you do on these trips. You get to know everybody on a personal level, and you not only talk business, but you talk more just, about life and building these relationships and these bonds across the country. It's just amazing. And I know some of you guys have been on these trips. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've made friends throughout the company, all across the country. And I'm very blessed to have been on that cruise with Celia. We've had some good laughs on that cruise and stayed connected over the past 3 years. And she's got an amazing story. So Celia, do this. Just start from the beginning. And share your story through Zingular all the way up until you hit executive last month.
Okay. So thank you, first of all, because I really feel honored to be sharing with y'all. And, what an amazing company that this is, an amazing journey for all of us. So first of all, I had been watching my friend Jan. I worked at the bank at Wells Fargo for 20 years. And I had been watching Janice. She'd come in my branch every once in a while, and I had seen her, Jana Bullard, and I had seen her losing weight. Well, she had always been the heavy girl at work, honestly, and I never had a weight problem until I hit about 45. And so I'll be 58 on Saturday. I'll take cards and gifts on Saturday. It'll be fine. No, I'm teasing, but anyway. And so I'd seen her losing weight, and I thought, okay, crap, she didn't tell me we were going on a weight loss program, And so I asked her. Well, first of all, I didn't ask her. I asked another girl we worked with, and she said, oh, you'll have to ask Jana. And I was like, well, crap, I ain't asking her, because I don't want her to think she's all that in a bag of chips, honestly. I was like, I don't want her to think she looks good, you know how women are. And so, anyway, so finally I broke down one Saturday, y'all, and I was sitting in my rocking chair, and I was eating white powder donuts, wondering why I was gaining weight, eating the whole bag. I'm sorry for myself. And so I called her, and it was the week of Christmas. And she told me what she was doing and everything. And I was like, all right, well, send me the stuff, whatever I need to do, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, and honestly, at the time, I didn't really have the money to be spending on it, because at that time, I had 5 grandkids, and I had bought them 20 gifts apiece. So, that's my love language. So I love giving gifts. And so anyway, I ordered my kit. My husband was out. We have a shop or barn, whatever you can call it, outside of our house here. So I went out there, and I was like, well, I just bought a kit. I'm hoping I can lose weight, and it costs blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of mumbled how much it cost, because I thought he's going to shoot me, because I didn't ask permission. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission. So I went with that. And anyway, so then I got the kit in, and I thought, what the have I just done? You know how you look at that box and you're like, whoa. And so anyway, lost 14 pounds in my first 8 days, because I was determined to prove my husband wrong. And then I went on in 5 months, lost 51 pounds, maintained that now for about 4 years. It'll be 4 years in May. And the cool thing, y'all, that, we really can't talk about this, but I honestly believe this, losing the weight. I went in for a checkup to my cardiologist, because I was on Benicar HCT and metoprolol blood pressure medicines. So I went in for my checkup, and I was taking my blood pressure every couple of days, and my blood pressure was getting really low, and I was like, dang, you know, what in the world? So anyway, I went in to my cardiologist, and he first of all said he didn't recognize me. And he said, I don't know what you've been doing, but you need to keep doing it. He was just kind of a funny older guy. And so anyway, he took me off my blood pressure medications over a period of like 2 months. And one of them, he took me off right away because my blood pressure was just too low. Then he ended up taking me off the other one, you know, after about 8 weeks, because my blood pressure just kept staying lower. And he said, I don't think you need this. You've lost the weight. That's what usually happens when you have to, you know, high blood pressure. Anyway, I also got off my rheumatoid arthritis medication. So in the meantime, I started just telling people about it because I was like, crap, this stuff is really good, you know, and I like instant gratification because I had tried Jenny Craig, you know, and I had eaten those box meals. Y'all ate it on Thanksgiving one time. That sucked. I ate it at Christmas. That sucked even worse. And so anyway, you know, didn't get to eat real food. And then the minute I quit eating the high dietary food, guess what? Boom, here I want 40 more pounds, you know. So anyway, I tried all kinds of stuff, metabolic research, Advocare, you name it, I tried it. And so anyway, people, of course, I'm working at the bank. I'm a branch manager. People see you all the time. They're asking you, what in the heck are you doing? You know, you lost weight. Because, of course, when you've lost 50 pounds, everybody notices, you know, and they start noticing when you've lost 10. And so, of course, I started sharing. In my first 6 to 8 people, I just sent to Jana because I was like, I don't know, just call her. She can tell you what to do. Not realizing what I could be doing, you know. And so anyway, then I thought, you know, this stuff is really cool. So I started sharing with people and just kind of, you know, not really realizing, got my first check in the mail. And I thought it was fraudulent because I was at the bank and you don't get free money, right? So I called Singular and I was like, why did I get a check in the mail? Is this for real? Can I deposit it? Y'all, it was $78 and it couldn't have been at a better time. Because at that point in time, I had maxed out a few credit cards and all that kind of stuff, you know, because I love giving gifts, remember, and y'all can tell I'm high maintenance, and that's never stopped. And so, you know, I just thought, oh, well, you know, I'll just put on this card or that card or whatever. And so being at the bank, just because you work at the bank don't mean you have access to the vault. And so anyway, went on, and then I brought on my daughter-in-law, and that's Christina Stoltz, and she'd done Plexus before. So locking arms with her, I kind of learned a little bit about this because I didn't even know what this was, y'all. Had no clue really what was going on. I didn't even understand the compensation plan for probably the first 2 years. Didn't care to know it because I had to read crap at the bank and I had to follow audit and I had to follow compliance that I don't want to know anymore. I had too much in my head, you know, and I'm too old. I'm like, I'm too old to be learning all this new stuff. So I just kind of went with it, and I would get paid and think, how in the world, you know, how'd this happen? And so anyway, and like Stacy said, y'all, when I won or earned, they say, when I earned the trip to Costa Rica, I had no idea how I earned it. Earned the trip to Salt Lake, didn't know how I earned it. You know, the cruise, had no clue. And I just thought, this is cooler than crap, you know. Anyway, and then have just really just been sharing a lot. There's been ups and downs. I can tell you it wasn't always a gravy train. You know, I was very blessed. I had a really, really, really strong leg. And I had talked to Stacy about this. You know, I said, I didn't really know how to build a business. I just was sharing with people, you know, and where they landed is where they landed. And so I didn't really know. I just didn't focus on that. Well, then fast forward. So that went on. So I ranked up in about 5 months to platinum director, which was very quick, right? And so then what happened is I sat there for about 3.5 years and not complaining because, of course, you know, you're still getting paid. I had like 13, I think right now I have 13 levels deep. And, you know, I was still getting paid for all that PV. And so I just finally thought, you know what, I got to quit focusing on the rank. I've just got to focus on helping people and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so in October 2019, I'd been a branch manager at the bank for 16 years. And for 2 of those, well, I'd been there for 20 years, but I was a branch manager for 16. And then for 2 of those years, I had decided to change positions at the bank. So I got to work from home a little bit. Well, that's a fluff job at the bank, okay? And I knew that whenever I took the position. But anyway, so in October 2019, I'm in Odessa with my dad, had a stroke, yada, yada. Get this phone call with 267 other people. We are being displaced. So I was like, whoa, you know, not realizing that God had a plan for me because he put Zinger in my life 3 years before that, 3.5 years, you know. And so anyway, I was like, dang, well, y'all, all these other people did not have a backup plan. And I did. So I was thinking, wow, you know, you never know why you're where you are. And so instead of being so focused on, oh, I've got to hit that next level, I got to hit that next level, I was like, you know what? God didn't want me to go there yet. He wanted me to, this is where he wanted me to be, because I couldn't have handled it probably, you know, and I wouldn't have appreciated it near as much as I do today. And so anyway, then I guess February, my daughter had joined us a while back, but she had dropped off because she's like, I'm sick of talking on the phone all the time. You know, it's back in the day. And if some of y'all are new, back in the day, we were on the phone forever. Sharon, we didn't have fast chats. We were on the phone for hours. And so that just wasn't her thing. She said, I can't do this, Mom. You know, I've got 3 little girls, just can't do it. Well, anyway, so I kept after her and I kept saying, Amy, please just do this again. Please do this again. So when I got displaced, she talked to me and she said, okay, Mom, I'm going to help you. So I'm going to join. I'm just going to kind of fiddle with it. I'm not going to be really big in it. I'm just going to kind of, you know, do whatever and kind of be here and there, whatever. So anyway, she joined on February the 13th, y'all. She did Extreme Builder, which opened up my other leg. And so now today she hit Silver Director from February the 13th until March the 31st. She was killing it. And now she's on track to be Gold Director, maybe even Platinum Director. But anyway, so I look at that and I think, wow, you know, so I waited all this time and had been really asking her, think how many years, y'all, that's my own daughter. I had asked her over and over and over and over again. And the timing just wasn't right. And now, y'all, because she had an online clothing business that was her passion, she loved it. But now that she has seen the difference in the way we do things, she is 100% in. So that's pretty much, I know I kind of went through and I chase rabbits a little bit. But anyway, so y'all have to stay with me when I squirrel. But anyway, that is pretty much how really and truly I got here, because I had a really strong leg. They were all, you know, I have the Christina Stoltz, I have the Whitney Houston, the Casey Graham, the Christy Bland is under me. So y'all think that when a gut punch to have two gold executives and some silver executives underneath me and I was Platinum Director, I was like, man, I suck. You know, okay, just go ahead and chop liver here, because I mean, it was, I thought, man, you know, but I had to get over that mindset and just realize, you know what, every dog has its day and everybody has their own journey. And you can't measure and stick to anybody else, because your plan in your life is your plan in your life, not nobody else's. So
that's exactly right. Yes. And I didn't know that Whitney Houston and Christy Bland were under you. Pam and I were in Dubai with them a couple years ago. So I didn't realize they were on your team. How cool was that?
Yes, they are. That's my big heavy leg. Yeah.
I would say it is, without a doubt. So you're on track. You're on track to go to lock in Dubai, right? Sounds like it.
Yes, I'm about 2,500 PV from that right now.
Wow. And this is the 15th. So
yeah,
good for you. Good for you. So talk to us about what you do consistently every day for yourself, and what you do with your team when you get a new person on board. Kind of talk about both things, because obviously you always want to keep doing your own activity, but you also want to make sure that you're training and bringing in new people and helping them do their activity. So talk about both of those.
Okay, so for myself, you know, like you said, so every morning when I get up, actually the first thing that we do is my new team has asked me, because of the quarantine and all that stuff, not being able to get out, they're like, we need accountability. We're sleeping till 9:30. We're getting our kids up. We're doing schoolwork. You know, we don't have any kind of set schedule. So, you know, they're going to bed late and getting up late and, you know, just really don't have a routine. So they asked me, you know, what would you do? And I said, let's do a 9 o'clock Zoom every morning. Let's have coffee together. Let's get ready together, whatever it is. So we started doing that. So that's the first thing I do. Well, I actually not the first thing, but I get up in the morning, I get ready, and I spend a little devotional time. And then the other thing is too, is I always make sure that I check any messages that I may have that have come overnight, because, you know, some people are 2 a.m. people and they're messaging and you're like, whoa. So I always, you know, check any messages or whatever for the first, you know, probably 30 minutes or whatever. And then I try to make a post, and it's not always about Singular. I learned that the hard way. I was posting a lot about not my family, but about, you know, come join us and that kind of thing. So that's all great and fine, but you've got to have a balance there. And so that's one of the things I do. And then I do that Zoom, and I let them decide. I set it for an hour, and if we do it for 30 minutes, we do it 30 minutes. If we do it for an hour, we do it for an hour. And so that right there holds me accountable, because we share what we're going to do that day. And from that minute on, I know as the leader, I have to do exactly what I'm telling them, and I have to show them that I'm doing that. So that has really helped me to stay focused, honestly, Stacy, and to just, you know, be there and to show them that I'm doing the same things that I'm telling them that they need to be doing, you know? So anyway, and I may tell them, okay, I'm going to send out 10 thank you notes. So I write handwritten notes and just say, you know, we appreciate you as a customer. I may send them like a trim stick, just something, because when I get something in the mail like that, it means the world to me. I don't care if it's, you know, a nickel or if it's $500, it's still a little, you know, a thank you or whatever. And just, how are you doing? And most especially right now, people like getting stuff like that, because people are lonesome and they want to hear from people, you know? So I do spend time doing that, you know, send out 5 or 6. I don't do a ton because I get bored real easily. And then the other thing is, like I said, I follow up with my customers that, you know, need me, but we have a coaching page. So I make sure I go in there and coach something, you know, whether it be what I'm having for breakfast. And I try to change it up, you know, what I'm making for my shake, or go in there and say, hey, what's everybody, you know, eating for breakfast this morning, or just keeping that page active and participating in it, and maybe sharing a recipe, you know, something like that, just to keep it. And it's made it to where that page is very, very active, and people are now sharing what they're eating before I even share. You know, or I'll be like, what do y'all like in your coffee? Or, you know, just dumb stuff that just to kind of get people interacting. And so I do that. And then one of the things I do is I always look at my team's goals, and I look at to where, and I break it down in bite-sized pieces. So for instance, like somebody may tell me, I want to be gold manager. I'm like, well, let's focus on, all right now you have 800 PV. So let's look at 2,000. Let's break that down, what that would be every day, and let's get you there. And you'd be surprised breaking it down, because people think sometimes, oh, they'll just shoot for manager. What I'm finding is that whenever I break it down in smaller pieces, once I hit manager, I'm like, girl, do you know how close you are to silver? Then we break that part down. So it's this daily task, this daily goal of what they need, and they surprise themselves because they'll exceed that every time. I've never seen it not happen, that they'll think, oh, I've got to have, you know, 250 PV every day, and they end up with 400 or whatever it is. So then they see that they can attain that, and they don't feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to reach this goal. Because y'all know what it's like. When I looked at executive, I thought, I'll never get there. That is a crap load of points to get. Screw that. I'm not up, you know. But anyway, because you start feeling defeated before you ever even get there, you know. And so that's why I really try to focus on just the smaller nuggets of it. So I break it down for each one of them into my level 3s, because a lot of these people are new under me. You know, Christina's leg, they're good. You know, I still stay in touch with a few of the newbies and stuff, but the other ones, if they need me, what I usually do is that if they're doing a promo, I contribute my part. You know, whether that be money or whether that be products, whatever it is, I just contribute my part. So that's like kind of like a lone ship running by itself, which is nice. That's a great place to be. And so with my new people, I really, first of all, y'all listen to what they say, because the answers are with them. So for instance, like with Amy's group, all of her group, and that's my daughter, their age group is like anywhere between 25 to 35, I'd say the majority of those builders are. So I'm going to be 58. So I'm like the old lady at the party, right? So I've got to make sure that I'm listening to what works for them. So in the fast chats, they like to voice some of that stuff. So I want them to be themselves. Because there's nothing worse than saying, oh, we can't do that because that's not duplicatable. If that's what's working for them, don't change it. You know what I mean? You've got to sometimes go with some of those things. Now they do send out like the fast chat stuff, but they'll message their story, because I'm like, they can hear your passion, your voice, your excitement about that, and how you're so excited about that, instead of this, reading thing, and then they'll send their picture or whatever. So I spend a lot of time really digging down in the numbers. And I'm one of those kind of people that I'm the person you want to have at the party. I'm not a planner. I'm not that gold person. I'm that orange that wants to have fun. So if they tell me to go build a bridge, I'm not going to care how we're going to get it done. I'm just ready for the party. So that's kind of the way I do this. I'm the person that likes to build everybody up and have fun and, that kind of thing. And so if I know that a distributor's not commenting in our groups, then I'll be like, hey girl, where you at? And stuff like that, just to kind of get them going again. And then if I don't hear from them for, a little bit, then I message them on the side. I'm like, hey, is everything okay? I haven't heard from you. Just wanted to check in on you. How's everything going? Because if you're there for them all the time and you really care, they're going to feel that, and they will want to work harder for you, because they know, first of all, you care for them as a person more than you do about what they're bringing to you for Singular.
Absolutely. So, I love that. Yes. I mean, that is, building those relationships, and your team is amazing at that. You and Jana, you guys have like the biggest hearts ever. And, when it comes to relationship building, you guys are spot on. There's no one does it better than you all. And
that's sweet.
Well, I mean it. I mean, I've been around you guys enough to know that you guys just love on people like crazy. And that is so important, because, yes, we want our team to be successful in the business, but we also want to make sure that we're building that relationship, and they know that we're there, even if it's just they need to call and vent, or they need to call and and just talk or chit chat,
yes.
Whatever it might be. It doesn't need to always be about Singular. No. It doesn't need to always be about, who you enroll and who you're talking to. And, it can be just, hey, how's your day going?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. And because, everybody's day is different. And, some people are, on a high one day, and sometimes they're not. And, you may have a few team members on their high and a few team members not. Yeah. So you guys really do well at really loving on your team and building those relationships. And I know that is one of the big things that has helped you guys and will always help you guys be so successful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy doing, so, and I know what it felt like for me, because sometimes if you feel like that you don't have that person and you're having that day, you've got to plug in somewhere. We all have to plug in somewhere. And so that's why doing these morning Zooms, y'all, I mean, it's not, you've got to be creative sometimes, because you may not be plugged in, but when I see all their faces on there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, and then it fires me up. And, and it's just funny, some of the things we laugh about. And I'm like, I told my daughter, I said, dang, I can't believe you're up this early. I mean, and everybody's laughing. And then one girl was like, did you just roll out of bed? But anyway, and it was just fun to just kind of pick on them, or whatever, and just to make it fun and not to be all about, okay, well, what are we going to do today? Because sometimes you just don't want to talk about what you want to do today. Sometimes you just want to be like, I don't really know. And two, whenever I found this too, Stacy, that, with our group, that some of them were not wanting to do fast chats. And so, they were doing fast chats, but not with a coach or not with a friend. And I told them, I said, just find a friend that you really jive with, that's going to be perfect for this customer. I don't care who it is, as long as it's somebody, somebody to help you. And I think that's really made a big difference. I always felt like I had to do that with my upline. And I'm like, but what if they don't really get along with them? Or, you just tell their personalities may not mesh. What if it would be somebody in my downline that'd be better? I don't care who it is, reach out, because you never know, and you're helping them too, and you're helping to grow them. So one of the things I did one day is I thought, okay, this is, I don't need this to get out of hand, because we're just now starting. So this was like the second or third week after all these this newbie started, joining with us. So anyway, so I did a deal in our little chat group. We have a chat group going, and that's where we give kudos and, share different things, whatever. And so I told them, I said, okay, y'all, I said, whoever has the most fat chats, whoever has the most fast chats.
We can call them that if you want.
Okay, hey, whatever.
It may be appropriate in some ways.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, a lot of ways. Oh my gosh, I love it. But anyway, and so I told them, I said, whoever has the most, a minimum of 4, then I'm going to send you a $25 gift card, or I'm going to Venmo you $25. And I said, but you have all day to do it. Y'all, the minimum that we had, every single person participated, because we started making it fun. I'd be like, oh my gosh, so-and-so's got one going on. And I said, this is going to be, whoever you're adding into the chats has to report what you're doing. That way it's not like, oh, I'm telling you, oh, I'm doing this when I'm really not, And so anyway, the minimum that we had that day in Fast Chats was 10. That was the minimum. Yes. So we did it from I set a timeline. I was like, let's do it from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That way you can have your family time, whatever it is, have supper, that kind of thing. It was nuts that day. I mean, I don't even remember eating. I just remember going, oh, because I'm trying to keep track. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because when you commit to something like that, you got to be on it and, giving shout outs and stuff. And the most that day was 28 that we had. Wow. One girl had 28 chats. Yeah. So
now that's insane.
It was. And I mean, it was worth my $25, that's for sure. And I want to say we had 12 enrollments that day.
Wow. So, that's awesome. So is that one of the things you did last month?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Have you done it this month yet?
No, I'm doing, I'm going to do this month is I told them, I said, I'm going to do a power hour every so often. So tonight we're doing a power hour, and it's actually for an hour and a half, but I want to give them time to kind of, so I told them, I said, tonight from 8 o'clock till 9:30. So while I'm doing this, I said, so from 8 o'clock to 9:30, I said, whoever has the most enrollments with a minimum of 3, I said, then you're going to get $50. And so anyway, because I'm going to have a minimum of 3, has to have 120 PV, whatever. Anyway, and I said, or we can do 2, and if y'all get $25, y'all decide. So they decided to have 2 different winners that win $25 each. And so I know that already that they've been messaging me. I'm seeing them pop up that I think we've already had 6 enrollments just since we started at 8 o'clock.
How cool is that?
Yeah, and it's just fun stuff, just throwing little fun things out there that just keeps people going, and I try to think about family time and stuff like that, and so anyway, I think just kind of doing motivational things that keep them hopping and keep them wanting to jump, and the reason I did it tonight is because the stimulus money's coming in. And so, y'all, in 5 days, we moved, well, actually it's about 4.5 days, our PV grew 14,938 PV in 5 days, about 4.5, 5 days.
Mm-hmm. So that brings me to the next thing I was wanting to talk to you about is, when the pandemic hit, I think we all kind of took a step back and kind of shocked us to say, okay, how is this going to affect our business? Is this a good time to promote? Is it not a good time to promote? How do I promote? Who do I reach out to? Who do I not reach out to? I mean, I think there was a lot of uneasiness, I think, with everybody. Yes. No matter what level you're at. I think even with the top or upper executives, I think that they were a little, okay, we need to, keep doing our business, but we need to maybe change our wording a little bit, change our approach. But here's the thing, right in the middle of that, right in the middle of a pandemic that's global, you hit executive.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. So, and we just came off of our 7th biggest month in corporate history during a pandemic that's affecting everybody. It's not just affecting a handful of people. It affects everybody. Yeah. So with that being said, obviously you grew big time last month, and you're growing even bigger this month. I mean, you're already at 25,000 points from hitting executive, so your points have bound to be up from where they were last month. So well, tell me what you and your team are doing to grow during this time, because I think that, and I was one of them, like I said, that really took a step back and took my foot off the gas a little bit. And then after about a week or two into it, I realized, wait a minute, people are still ordering products. People are still ordering kits. And this month already, I think I've enrolled 7 or 8 people and 2,400 inception points. So
yeah,
people are still ordering. So
yes.
tell us what you did last month and what you're doing this month with the pandemic going on.
Okay. And you're right. So, whenever that hit and everything at the first part of March, it wasn't really big at that point in time, but it was one of those things that we had such a huge momentum going from February that in March, we just hit it strong. So then whenever I noticed that going on, that's whenever I put out the fast chat little incentive, because I said, you know what, y'all? I said, I know that we've got this going on. And I said, but it's all in our mindset. And I said, we cannot change what you hear in the news. We cannot change, but people still need our system more than ever. And I said, so be really conscientious of that when you're, talking to people or whatever. And I said, but it's a great segue to say, hey, friend, I was just reaching out to you to see how things are going, and in this craziness. How's everything going with you and your family, and just start a conversation and go ahead and put it out there, and then once they talk about that, and I'm talking about like in follow-ups. Okay. And then even like new people, reaching out, that I told them, I said, if you will post, like we did a group collage picture that said, thank you for supporting small business, and had had a bunch of our coaches on there. And we shared that and sent that to some of our customers. We put it on our coaching page and we sent it to some new friends and said, hey, we want you to know that we're excited for you to join us, and already assuming that they've joined you, you know what I mean? And so anyway, and then the other thing is too, is just, going in there with people and like I said, I did that push for the fast chats, which was a huge thing. And I told them, I said, y'all don't focus on the negative because people still need this. And I said, and with our promotion going on, what a great time, because they're not having to spend a lot of money. And they've got the fabulous 4 products that we have. So I think just really changing their mindset and like I had one girl that she's still caught up in it. And I told her, I said, and so I talk to her every day and I'm like, how are you doing? How's everything going? And, she'll say, man, I'm just really worried about this. I'm like, well, share that with me. So if you let someone that's feeling like that vent to you, they get it off their shoulders, then it's set aside. Then they can move on with life. But if they're carrying that around with them for days and days and days, they're never getting to shed that. So it just starts dragging them down and dragging them down and dragging them down. So I just found that just calling and saying, how's it going? I know that this crap is crazy right now, but, people still need what we have. And, we've got to be there for them. And if they say no, say, you know what, I completely understand. I just wanted you to be aware of what we have going and everything, and that we have this promotion going and we would love to help you. And, we're going to be here for you. We love you first as a friend. And, and if you need anything, we're here, that kind of thing.
And I
really
love that.
And just following up and just really being, putting it out there, go ahead and eat the elephant instead of them saying, well, you didn't even care about what's going on. Do you not know, have you not been watching the news? That way they know that, you've been watching the news, and you're talking about how crazy it is. And, how's things in your world? And, are you working from home? Those what a great time to, have conversation when you can't think of anything to say,
100%. Yes. I mean, exactly. If nothing else, this has opened up a door for us to just reach out to people and say, hey, how are you doing? And like you said, how are you and your family doing through this craziness? Are you, are you working from home? Have you been furloughed? Are you getting in more hours or less hours? Because I know some people are getting, more hours. There's nurses that are working like crazy. There's some nurses that are getting furloughed. Just depends on, what type of nursing they're doing. And same thing with retail. Some people, depending on where they're working at, are busy. Some people are furloughed. And so it gives us this opportunity just to reach out to people, our friends, and say, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Do you, do you have a need, a special need that you want me to pray for you about,
Right.
tonight? So,
Yes.
just, and like we've always said, which our team is, and I think this whole company is always be authentic when reaching out to
Yes.
people, with a caring heart, just saying, hey, how you doing? It doesn't necessarily need to be, and I'll just give you an example of one of mine is, hey, how you been doing with all this craziness going on? I hope you and your family are doing well. I don't know if this is a good time for you or not, but I want to let you know that we have a promotion going on right now. Let me know if you want the details.
That's exactly right.
Just something that simple. It's not, it's letting them know that, that there's craziness going on. Like you said, you're watching the news, you're in touch with life.
Yeah.
And you're asking about how everything's going, and you're providing them with the same information you always do. None of that has changed. Hey, we got a special going on. Not sure if this is the right time for you. If it is, would you like details? To something that simple. And I think people appreciate that. If nothing else, they respond back to say, and hey, I'm doing well. My family and I are blessed. Thanks for reaching out. How are you doing? They may completely blow off the hey, I got a special going on, and that's fine. It at least gets that conversation going.
That's right.
How are you doing? And then saying, hey, how's things going in your life? And that's really what it's about. Circling back to just building those relationships, and not letting people think that you're just reaching out to them because you want to sell them something.
Right. And one thing too that we did, Stacy, is to try to make light of it. Is we would be, post a thing about, us having a bag of resist. And we would be like, can you resist running the refrigerator every 15 minutes because you're bored out of your freaking mind? I mean, and we had so many people bite on that. It was hilarious, And anyway, and then I posted a picture of a little Debbie's girl, and one of them she was pretty chunky, and the other one was, the regular little Debbie. And I was like, oh, Lord, please don't be the quarantine plus 15. If you think you're going to be the quarantine plus 15, let me know. Be the minus 15, not the plus 15. Just little things like that to make it funny. And, and then I'll tell you this, putting your stuff on your stories gets so much more attention than just posting on Facebook. So if you're not putting in your stories, start today. Because I'm older than heck, and I didn't even know how to do that until somebody showed me. I was like, okay, show me again, because I'd be shown like 5 times. So anyway, but it can be done. And I was looking, and I had like 385 views, and I had 3 comments. But I signed up 4 people from that, just because it was stupid. It was stupid funny, and just trying to make light of it and everything, and talking about, you have to think about, what am I doing, And then one day I posted on there, oh my gosh, I would pay 100 or 200, 300, whatever it is to get my nails done. Who else is with me? And then I'd make another post about, about the resist, or about how many people go in the refrigerator and grab something and think, oh my gosh, there goes another 10 pounds on my butt. You just have to be really real and think about where you're at, because they know what you do. If they can look at your Facebook and they know you've been doing this for a while, they already know, And it's funny too, on our testimony page, y'all be adding people on there left and right. Today alone, I've had 5 people that used to do this reach out to me, and they said, okay, because we did a video. I'll have to send it to you, Stacy. We did a video today. My daughter's really good at this. We all did a product, and we did it to music. And so anyway, we all did a product and just kind of did a little thing with it or whatever. And it talks about what each one of them does. And so I had 4 or 5 people reach out to me today after that video and said, okay, I've been watching y'all. Y'all are having fun. I need to get back on board. Blah, and I want to guess our page is called Bringing Sexy Back. And so anyway, so they're like, I want to bring my sexy back. And I'm like, yeah, you do, And anyway, so just trying to add people to a testimony page and really being active in there is huge, big time huge, So find a picture to add to that sucker every single day so that people see it coming through, but don't overload it. We have like 2 or 3 a day just so it kind of keeps it going, so it's fresh and everything. But it's just fun. And so I've had people reach out because of that. And then too, there was something else I was going to tell you. Be sure and put that on your Instagram stories, on your Facebook stories, you know, but we did this little video thing, and then I went live today, and I hate live. Like, you might as well just cut my head off, because I'm like, no, I don't want to. I mean, I go screaming and crying. So this morning I thought, okay, I told the team that I was going to go live right after this Zoom. So I got to go on there and do this dang live. So I just went on there and did it. And I did it about the extra bundle. And I was like, okay, you know, y'all, I'm extra. Y'all know how I am, because I'm over the top. And anyway, and so then I started talking about our kit and, you know, just kind of made it fun or whatever. And I had 2 girls sign up right after I did that live. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so do lives. They are in this younger team told me, you got to go live. Every time one of them goes live, they sign up 2 or 3 people every time. So lives are the key.
And you're talking about going live in the testimonial group, right?
Live on your Facebook page.
Live on Facebook page. Do you guys go live in your testimonial group as well, or just keep it to your Facebook page?
We usually keep it to our Facebook page, unless we're wanting to share something about a promo. Then, just like with doing that video about the kit or whatever, we just asked who wanted to go do that live on our testimony page. I kind of leave that open for someone else to do. That way it shows leadership from them, and I'm not the one doing everything, you know, because I want to empower them to do this themselves. I don't want to babysit, and I don't want to be the creator of everything. So that's where I've kind of had a learning curve of, you know what, the answer's in the room, and I don't always have to have it. So
absolutely.
You know, so I just listen to what they say, and sometimes they have some fantastic ideas. And like that video, do y'all think I could have done that video? Like, no, but hell no, I couldn't have done that video. I'd have still been sitting here trying to figure out how we're going to get it recorded.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we just making it fun. I will tell you this. We did a Zoom one day to let everyone meet each other, okay? Because they hadn't all met each other, and I knew all of them, and my daughter knew all of them, but they didn't know each other. So we did that for like 30 minutes, and they introduced themselves. And when we got done, I said, what is one thing? And y'all, our newest girl was 3 days into the system, and she had, you know, already started in the business. And anyway, I said, what is one thing, one takeaway today that you would share with someone to help you grow your business? The new girl that had been this 3 days had done Abacare. She was a diamond in Abacare. Okay. And Abacare went, you know, her and her husband lost a car, almost lost their home because both of them did Abacare. So anyway, so she's jumped on. She's been a friend of my daughter's. I reached out to her 2 years ago to ask her to join me. And she told me, she goes, man, you have lots of guts. That wasn't her exact word, but she said to call me whenever you know I'm making big money at Abacare. And I was like, well, girl, I know you'd be awesome. I just had to ask you, you know. And now she's like, Celia, I should have listened to you 2 years ago. I said, you wouldn't have appreciated it because you had Abacare in your, you know, in your hip pocket. And now she's fixing to hit silver manager, and she just joined with us, I think 3 weeks ago. She fixing to hit silver manager. But
wow.
Anyway, yeah. So now I forgot what was going with that. But anyway, so just keeping it. Oh, what she said was, this right here, seeing everybody's faces and feeling a part of something is what I needed. So, you know, those little things, we always think it's this big old thing that we're going to do, but it's never the big thing. It's always the little things, and just having a community of friends and keeping it fun. And y'all, if you have some little builders going on, then have little text chats going with different ones and name their text. I don't do it in Messenger because that's where everything else is and it gets lost. So we do it in a text, and it's just fun because in the morning I'll be like, all right, morning ladies, y'all wake your butts up, you know, or whatever. And just things like that. And okay, one girl, she said, oh my gosh, my dog, she's been chewing sticks. We're at the vet. And I'm like, well, what kind of sticks you been chewing, you know? So just talking about everyday life, because you need to build as much a relationship with your distributors as you do your customers, if not more, you know? So that has been a huge key for us to really make it fun. I'm having fun. I don't dread it. I don't even, y'all, to be honest with you, when I hit executive, I didn't know I hit it because I was so focused on getting in there that I was like, what the hell just happened?
And that's a good feeling.
Yes, it was. It was.
And so, yeah, I don't want to take up much more of your time. Do you mind if we hang out for just about another 5 minutes to see if anybody has any questions?
Yeah, not at all.
Okay. Guys, if you have a question, just unmute yourself, and I'm going to unmute myself, and we're only going to stay here about another 5 minutes because it's getting later than what I thought.
I'm a jabberbox. That's what he's telling y'all.
Well, I am too is the thing. You get 2 jabberboxes on the Zoom together. We could do this till midnight.
I know, right? Yeah, y'all ask away. I don't mind answering any questions or any ideas y'all want. Or y'all can just look at me. No, I'm kidding. All right, who's going to be the brave one and ask a question? How many people are on here anyway?
So
I'm impressed.
I have a question.
Okay.
So whenever you're doing your lives, like how many are you doing? Are they weekly, or do you try to do a live every other day, or how often are you doing that on your page?
I'm trying to do a live about every week to 10 days. That way it's fresh. It's not, because have you ever seen those people that do it every day and you're like, oh God, there she is again. I don't want to get that scrolling past me, you know? So yeah, not a lot, but something to make it fun, you know, or just some quirky boomerang picture, you know, that you do. Something squirrely like that is what has really been helping a lot.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Isn't it crazy, y'all, how you try to think of things that it's like you feel sometimes like you get stagnant. You know, I felt like that. I thought, man, what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm doing all the things, and I check off the daily checklist. But sometimes I found that I didn't really know what that looked like. So they would say, okay, go do this activity. And I'd be like, well, what does that even look like? You know, and I would get frustrated because I didn't know what they were talking about. So once I just started trying to think, okay, I got to do Celia, and I got to stay in Celia's lane. I can't be in someone else's lane. I got to do me, but still keep it to where it's duplicating. But at the same time, you don't have to be robots, you know? And sometimes I think we get so fixed on, okay, here's this box, put this bow on it. But what's inside the box is what really matters. So that's what you need to think about, is don't try to be perfect. And the worst thing you can do is not say anything at all. You know, sometimes I get on a live and I think, boy, that was crazy. Because y'all, I promise y'all, I can squirrel in a hurry. And so, and I don't write crap down because I don't have time for that. I'm too ADD to be going writing stuff down. I don't even make a list to go to the grocery store. So, you know, I may get on there and I'll be like, oh God, that sucked, you know, and I go in there and I post it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to delete that in 30 minutes. But oh gosh. But anyways, just be yourself. I mean, that's what people want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the majority of your Facebook friends, you've known them for years, whether it be you grew up with them, you've worked with them, neighborhood, church, whatever. So they know you, they know your personality. And the minute that you try to do something that's not you, it looks just as bad as it feels.
Yes. And never end anything with, do you want more info? Because I did that. You know, you get to where you do, because you're like, do you not read these freaking posts I'm making every time? You know, and so you get frustrated. So I've just been like, just leaving it, you know, like, here's what we're doing kind of thing. And every once in a while I'll put, who wants the scoop or the poop, you know? Yeah. And it's just like, I mean, you just got to put something out there, you know, and it gets people laughing. And they may just focus on the last part of what you said, but they're reading it. You know, you're planting that little seed, because one day, you never know, Becky may gain 20 pounds and she's like, OMG, I've got to put that bathing suit on, or I got to fit in that dress, or, you know, Butch, he needs to go on a hot date and he's gained 20 pounds because he's been sitting and drinking beer all day, you know, so you never know where people are.
But that's true. I mean, we laugh about it, but, you know, it's real life.
Yep.
You know,
it is.
You don't.
Have you ever had to go to something? You're like, oh crap! I wish I'd have started my diet 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm like, you know, look at her shaking it. She's like, yep.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Who's excited about Zing Flang? I'm excited about Zing Flang. How about y'all?
Yes, and it's, you know, it's very unfortunate, you know, because everything going on, we can't be in Vegas together. But my goodness, how great is it for corporate to open this up for everybody?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So I hope you guys are listening to Cecilia with Zing Flang, because what you're going to hear from people. Cecilia, I know you've probably been to every event since you got started, but don't you learn something new every time?
Oh yeah. I definitely do. And it may be one or two little nuggets, but it's something that I needed to hear. And just seeing everybody, I think that it's just that camaraderie of just seeing people and thinking, wow, they're just real people. I'll never forget the first time I went to one. I was like, holy moly, she makes how much money? I was just excited to get $1,500 on stage. I thought, man, I am rolling high freaking cotton. Oh, and then somebody gets a $500,000 check. I was like, okay, maybe not so much.
But when you hear their stories, you're like, there's nothing, not to take anything away from anybody. Yeah, they're nothing special, nothing extraordinary. They're just real life people like us. And they've just made that decision, like you have, made the decision that I'm going to do something with this and I'm going to build it. And this is going to change my life forever.
Yes.
And they've made that decision.
Yeah, and I encourage each one of you to not ever think that somebody doesn't need to lose weight or somebody doesn't need this business. I think it's on how you approach it. One of the things that I know that we don't always with everybody ask them right out of the gate if they want to join us to do this. A lot of them, it's on day 3. And I can tell you the majority of the distributors that my daughter and them are adding is on day 3. Because they're just like, man, I love this stuff. And that was their little different change, because I've been asking people right out of the gate with that question, how do you want to come as a member or distributor, which we ask that. But, at the same time, we don't give up on that and just ask them, hey, you're loving this. Here's, do you want to post this? And and we're typing up their post and getting the picture for them and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, just don't ever assume anything, because I assumed a lot of times, and the people I thought were going to hit it out of the park didn't do squat, so. Anyway, I thank y'all for your time. Y'all are amazing, and I'm excited. Stacey, I'm so glad I got to see you with that little beard.
I know.
Daddy from Cincinnati. What do you call? What does your grandkids call you?
Well, he calls me. It's supposed to be Poppy, but somewhere or another he got some Italian blood in him. I'm not sure how, and it's more, of Papa. So, yeah. Yeah, it's.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and every now and then he'll say Poppy, but most of the time it's like Papa. So, but yeah. But Cecilia, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Everyone have a great night, and as always, God bless.
Yeah, y'all too. Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.